Hello, it's Ruby, and in my last vlog I finished writing my novel. The next day basically I started a new writing project. Of course, I never like to be without a writing project because I do love writing, and my newest project has been writing daily letters from Agatha Armitage on Substack. They are perfectly absurd and just absolutely nonsensical, and I love absurdism. I love writing absurdism. I cannot tell you how much I've been enjoying this, and so in this vlog I am sharing like a few days writing these letters and introducing you to my process of writing Agatha's letters. I'm sure I will share more about this as the months go on because I just love it so much, but yes, just with that said, I hope you enjoy this video filmed over just a couple of days. Good morning. It's raining today, which is lovely, and I'm going to start on writing some more of the letters from Agatha. They are genuinely my favourite thing in the world to do at the moment, and I'm thinking about her constantly. So I started drafting one yesterday, which I think will be on my dashboard. Also, how crazy is that? 71,800 views. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this put on these letters because absurdist writing is just my absolute favourite kind, and when I posted it I really wasn't sure what the response would be because it's very different and a little bit weird, and you're never quite sure, at least I'm never quite sure, how people are going to respond to very weird stuff. Like when I've posted absurdist videos in the past on YouTube, which I have done before, like my absurd morning routine and things, the response has been like very, very positive, but with a few strange exceptions. The response is very mixed. Like there are people who are so lovely about it and very positive about it and say that they really enjoy like absurdism, which I really enjoy. I love absurdism and reading and consuming absurdism. But then other people get really confused and call it weird, and I'm totally fine with that because I think you can't create like absurdist stuff without some people saying it's weird, and actually if no one is calling it weird, then maybe that's a bad sign in and of itself. When I was in Oxford, I'd posted this absurdist video whilst I was on the break, and then I came back and I was sitting in the library and this person came up to me, like also a student. I was working, I had my headphones in, and he came up to me and said, "Please can you help me with something on the computer?" Like the PCs that are set there by the Bodleian. And I was like, "Oh, I've never used the PCs before, I'm probably not the best person to ask," because I'd have no idea. And he was like, "Oh no, please, I really think you'll be able to help." And so I said sure and said yes, and like, you know, took out my headphones and put all my things away and like set them to one side and came over to the PC where he was working, and he had up on the screen this absurdist YouTube video that I posted, and it was on the part where I had made my porridge blue because I just love blue food. I just think there's something so fun. Like there's so much boringness in the world, that why not make your food blue when you can? Like blue mashed potato, yes. Blue porridge, yes. Blue, I mean, I don't really drink glasses of almond milk, but like just adding some blue into your almond milk, again, it would just make it more exciting. And then I can't even remember exactly what he said now because it was a couple years ago, but he said something along the lines of like, "Do you really think that looks appetizing? Do you really think that's a good idea?" But it was very much from a point of like, "Oh, this is quite weird." As I say, I do think you can't post something absurdist and then not expect for people to think it's weird. But I just thought that was a bit of a strange way to like ask me about it or like talk about it. Like I was there studying with headphones in, and it was a completely silent library. And this is really good as well. This is pear juice. So I started drafting one yesterday about Black Friday, and so I'm going to finish that one. I'm just going to do like my first draft, and then I will send it to Chris Riddell, who is like just the most incredibly kind, amazing human being, and I still cannot believe that he's illustrating these letters. Like he sent me a message randomly out of the blue and this week and just said like, "Do you want me to illustrate the Agatha Armitage letters?" And I just didn't even know how to respond. Like I was freaking out all day. Still, I'm in disbelief. Like I still cannot believe it's real, and part of me thinks I'm just gonna wake up and it's all gonna have been a dream, because this genuinely I think is the most exciting thing ever to happen in my life. I'm just slightly, okay, very much freaking out right now because I just received one of the most exciting emails I think ever. I've just received this. This is an email from Chris Riddell. And when I say Chris Riddell, I mean, yes, the Chris Riddell. Like the Chris Riddell that I read as a child. I loved Chris Riddell's books when I was younger, and I read so many books that were illustrated by Chris Riddell as well. but he sent me a message on Instagram this morning offering to send some illustrations of Agatha, and like he's just sent these over. And I think just aside from being so incredibly talented and such a funny absurdist writer, as well as a poet, political cartoonist, but he's also just such a kind person. Like, he's so talented and creative, but also so kind. I am in shock and feeling so grateful. This one is so funny. The companion. Oh, the sleeping fox. But yeah, he said before I post, just send him the letters and then he can illustrate them. But anyway, in this one, it's Black Friday, and Agatha has just learned about what Black Friday is from her fox friend. Dear friend, it turns out that my fox friend has had quite the successful outing at Waterstones and even managed to procure this book in, what was it he called it? A Black Friday sale. This confused me slightly because, like most days unaffected by volcanic ash clouds, Friday was not black at all. In fact, it was quite blue with a little bit of orange. I don't really like that. I'm gonna change that because so much of writing is just waiting for it to sound right, and that just doesn't sound right. It doesn't flow very nicely. Like, in fact, it was quite blue with a little bit of orange. Like, I think that needs to be a short sentence instead of with a little bit of orange foliage peeking in through my bedroom window. I don't like that. Maybe it just needs to be, in fact, it was quite blue. There was even a little bit of orange. It's so pretty. I'm gonna have to go on a walk even though it's getting dark. It's just so lovely with all of the pink, and I know it's gonna go quickly. I shall finish my letter when I return. Just look. You're so cute. Oh, it's so pretty. My wellies also have a hole in them, and so my feet will be completely soaked by the end of this walk, which is slightly unfortunate. You can't really see. Maybe you can. That's the hole where Lola bit. Look at them. Oh, the pink in the sky has already gone, which is unbelievable. And the sun has gone beneath the horizon, which is also, I can't believe that because it's only 5. I think it's before 5. But look at the moon. Oh, I love this time of day. Maybe it's time to go back. It is quite dark. It's dark and I'm back and I'm writing 2 more letters. So this one is letter 10, and Agatha Armitage is on the train and she is telling the story of how she gained the trust of the billionaire, because basically she needs a favour from this billionaire, but she has to pretend to be a billionaire in order to do that. And she finds it's actually remarkably easy because they're so predictable. I always write in bullet points first because this is not my final draft. This is just like an early draft, and I think I'm going to send it tomorrow. So here is letter 1, and then letter 2 is this one. But letter 2 is not finished. It's very, very messy as it stands. These leeks have definitely seen better days. This soup is my absolute favourite meal, and I haven't made it for months. Carrots. This pasta is undeniably the best part. These are little moons and stars. I just think there's something so wonderful about creating constellations in your soup. I just love the idea of star-shaped pasta. The soup is boiling, and so I'm going to check over the Agatha letters that I wrote yesterday. Just do the finishing touches, and then I'm going to post it on Substack. I'm going to make some blue butter. I'm just going to use blue spirulina powder. So here's my toast. Not gonna lie, it just looks like mouldy bread. That is the most unappetizing looking slice of toast ever. But I really do think that anything tastes better when it looks blue. Obviously, if it's mouldy, then it doesn't taste better, but this isn't mouldy. This is the illustration I'm putting at the bottom. Can you see it? There it is. There we go. Letter 12. Let's take out all of the bullet points and then I'm going to read it through and edit it. I also need to edit the ones from yesterday, and then I'm going to send those ones to Chris too, and I will put today's up. I just love writing these so much. I also managed to get the videos edited, which is only 2 things off my to-do list so far. There it is, there's the new one. Let's click and see. This is a Black Friday special. Anyway, I'm gonna go and get some lunch because I'm quite hungry. And then we're going to my cousin's birthday party, or like birthday family do, in about an hour. I also want to go on a walk, and I need to wrap his present. There's so much I wanted to do that I haven't done. The most important thing though was going on a walk, and somebody in my comment section had the absolute genius idea of adding a carrier bag in my boot, and that would give me a waterproof sock, and so I did that, and it was amazing. My feet did not get wet. Such a genius idea. And then, as I say, in the evening we went to my cousin's birthday do, and these are their new kittens and they are so cute. My cousin put up all of these videos on the TV for them to follow. I thought just to finish this video I would read you part of one of the letters. Because I mentioned the Black Friday letter in this video, I will read you that one. So you know the beginning already, but nonetheless. Dear friend, it turns out that my fox friend had quite the successful outing at Waterstones and even managed to procure this book in, what was it he called it? A Black Friday sale. This confused me slightly because, like most days unaffected by volcanic ash clouds, Friday was not black at all. In fact, it was quite blue, with a smidge of autumnal orange. Nonetheless, I did not want to offend the fox's intelligence. I still do need his help when I repaint, and it turns out he is rather more proficient than I assumed, for he finished The Little Prince last night and was so consumed by the story that he did not join me for checkers and cheese. This is a very fun game involving checkers pieces made out of Gouda, which you most certainly are not supposed to eat. In an attempt to honour this so-called Black Friday, I dressed all in black, which was rather difficult because, as you know, I do not own any black clothes at all. My outfit thus involved a whole lot of soot and a very messy living room fireplace. And I ate a slice of ultra-burnt toast for breakfast. It was so burnt indeed that I couldn't even make out the colour of my favourite blue butter. Not the best way to start a morning. No, Agatha, the fox said, though not in those exact words, because foxes, if you didn't know, don't speak English. In fact, the fox spoke in Vulpine, which I'm gradually learning through Duolingo. Black Friday is not about the colour black. Instead, it's a utopian capitalist invention which involves majorly discounted items. See what I mean about him being intelligent? The fox explained that Black Friday is a way to save money. How is it saving me money if I'm spending money? That's a very good question, and not one I think I can answer.
And what if I don't need anything? You always need something. The fox was right about that. There were 3 things carved into my shopping list. I say carved because since I used all of my paper for your letters, I have instead been using a wax tablet made out of leftover sealing wax. The shops were heaving with people. One young man held a pair of red pimsoles above his head while screaming words I couldn't understand, and another was so laden with shopping bags that I could not make out his face. There was also an elderly woman battling people away with her handbag, and doing rather a good job of it too, so much so indeed that I've signed up for a short course in handbag combat. You're welcome to join me if you're free. I hear it's a growing martial art. Oh dear, I said, as the elderly woman knocked a decorative reindeer to the floor. The fox and I picked past the crowds of people until we reached the supermarket, because, of course, the first thing on my list was some biscuits. I know what you're thinking. Agatha, you bought 52 packets of jammy Dodgers just yesterday. Surely you don't need any more. But you must remember that I love biscuits very much, and that a jammy Dodger is nothing like a custard cream, or an arrowroot, or a bourbon, all of which are running in remarkably low supply. I gathered up a half trolley full of biscuits, in my own trolley of course, because who bothers with those boring metal trolleys? Mine is much more exciting, complete with fairy lights and a disco ball which starts playing Handel's water music when you walk past it. But when I got to the checkout, they told me that the biscuits weren't on sale. But it's Black Friday! Everything's meant to be discounted. Not biscuits, I'm afraid, the person shrugged. I thus turned to the second thing on my shopping list. I have, for a while, had my eye on a pair of Edwardian carriage lights. Can you believe I don't own a pair? Talk about grounds for embarrassment, especially when they would look absolutely lovely at the end of my bathtub. But my antiques dealer had not even heard of Black Friday. I tried to explain that it was a utopian capitalist venture, but he said there was nothing he could do. Well, I always need new stamps, I said dejectedly, consulting the final thing on my shopping list. And these weren't discounted either. I'm beginning to think you're lying to me, I said to the fox, as I paid full price for my stamps. We headed home slightly dejected, but on the bright side, I now have 100 stamps, which will hopefully last me until Christmas. I would have bought more, but they were all out of cowboy mermaid stamps, and nothing says I'm thinking of you like a fish mammal wearing a cowboy hat. Anyway, I will sign off here, but plan to write you about the train journey tomorrow when I have a chance. Your friend, Agatha. P.S. I hope you were not bamboozled by this supposed Black Friday too. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. I know it's absurd, I know it's strange, but it's so much fun to write, and I would strongly encourage you to try writing some absurdism because it's just such a joyful thing to spend your time doing. But, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.